All right, this mini lesson is all about sentence structure. The learning goal to understand that words or phrases placed in the theme position of a sentence stands out more than the other parts of the sentence. Now, I think this is something that we all know, but maybe we don't use the formal language to describe this. We probably know its effect as well, but I don't think students quite understand its effect. Um, Sometimes when we type in Word, we get the green squiggly line underneath and it says, passive voice consider reversing. This is what we're talking about here. Now, I'll just go through what it is. So, theme position are words or phrases that are placed in the first part of the clause and they stand out to the reader. And it basically means every word or phrase before the verb in a sentence, the first verb in a sentence, is called the theme position. So, for example, in the first sentence, Jessica jumped in front of a boy in the canteen line. Jessica is the only part that is in theme position. The verb jumped then indicates what's called the Rheme position, which is pretty much anything that's not the theme. The same is true with a boy in the canteen line was jumped in front of by Jessica. You can see with that example that it doesn't quite feel right or as correct as the first sentence. And that's because usually we put the person who does the verb in the first position. It's just the natural way. Usually when we speak to people, that's the way that we do it. Now, when it comes to things like academic writing, we usually actually use the passive voice, which means that the second sentence, a boy in the canteen line was jumped in front of by Jessica, is more common in academic writing than it would be in spoken texts like dialogues or simple narratives and stories. Now, theme position is significant to know and to be able to use because whatever's in theme position is highlighted, and whatever is usually in the Rheme position is not as noticeable. And so we can actually use language in quite a crafty, manipulative way by utilizing theme position for this purpose. So for an example, these sentences down the bottom here, the police officer chased the out-of-control driver versus the out-of-control driver was chased by the police officer. The focus on the out-of-control driver makes us visualize the out-of-control driver more than the police officer in this second sentence. Whereas the first sentence really has the emphasis on the actions of the police officer. So it's subtle, but it is very much a strategy that's used in particular in journalism when there's a particular agenda behind the scenes that's looking to play out. Usually journalists will put into theme position the actor that they're looking to concentrate on and maybe minimize the other actors. So the activity for this one really comes down to the group, the class, the activity that you've given them. You may want to just practice by using these basic sentences to find the verb in the sentence and then swap them around. I would encourage you to actually change these sentences or at least contextualize the examples that you use to your KLA. But you may want to actually have a short text and go through and highlight what's in theme position and talk about the effect that it has and maybe give a contrasting paragraph that maybe says something that's similar but has different use of theme position just to emphasize the main learning goal for this mini lesson.